I'm not here to make a record, you dumb cracker. They broadcast me out on the radio.
You're listening to Comics Podcasting on the edge of civility.
Alright, we should probably lead off with that, actually.
The list?
No, the dungeon thing.
Which dungeon? What?
Well, the Dungeons and Dragons thing we were just talking about. You know? There's a level of dork that gets so far down into Dungeons and Dragons that, you know, the rest of us who might one day be tempted into showing up at a con in a costume still wouldn't bother fucking doing it.
Everything has a level, my friend.
You know, I'm not gonna walk around with something labeled, you know, +1 sword of thwacking. You know, just not gonna do it. Hey kids, it's episode 66. We made it to 66, motherfucker.
Is that like an achievement?
It is for us.
Oh, good
You
point.
didn't think we'd get there.
I
You'd be like, he'll get bored after 10 and I can go back to drinking.
yeah. Well, that was my plan.
See? You're stuck now, you bastard. We're the Mean Geeks.
World's most reluctant co-host.
It's good for you, though. It gets you... No, it really doesn't
Into
get
the
you-
house.
It really doesn't get you
Yeah.
out at all. It,
Keeps me in the same chair I'd be in anyway.
it allows you to join the larger geek community without actually having to encounter other geeks.
Oh, you'll enjoy this, actually. I was at work today, and I
Uh-oh.
was trying to explain to people that I'm not good with computers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm basically computer illiterate. And they're all looking at me like, no. And one of the girls actually is like, no, you're not. I'm like, it's just a goddamn beard. It doesn't make me a programmer. I don't understand the shit. I can barely turn the fucking thing on.
Which says a lot since it's only one button. I mean,
And
it's-
yet, you know as a fact that I've had difficulty turning on computers.
You have, in fact. Which one's that? No, you're just resetting it over and over again, dude.
Dude, that's the plug. Okay, stop touching it right now. You made me leave mine on for like a month rather than turn it off.
That's right. Here's your abacus and your crayons. Try not to fuck it up.
Hey, I've actually made your job easier.
Yes, the amount of things that I've learned about computers just trying to get yours running and back together again would fill a goddamn college course.
Yeah. And you knew a lot to begin with.
I did!
And you still couldn't fix some of the shit that I did.
I don't know, you had some kind of fucking subspace field that was just fucking with processors and hard drives, and I'd buy you a new hard drive and 3 months later the thing would be dead. I don't know what you were putting on that stuff, man.
I wasn't.
I kept you safe. I kept you clean.
So I literally did next to nothing. I just apparently am a force field of suck for computers.
I mean, things would happen to that machine that would happen in your room, and I would take it to my room, plug it in, do the exact same thing that you showed me just broke, and it would fucking work.
and then you put it back in my room?
And it would break again!
You remember when we did that siren thing all the time?
Yes. Yes. The, oh my god, I'm the BIOS and I don't know what's happening to me anymore, whine.
Yeah. Then you put it. That was unpleasant.
That's the idea. You know what I had to go through to keep your fucking machines going?
Maybe in the room. Like
dude.
my current computer doesn't blow up to the same degree. So
Yeah, and I hate to admit it, but I didn't build that one.
this one?
Yeah.
No.
And it's going fine. But dude, I made you the same fucking machines I had with the same components.
Yes, but one of them was cursed,
Yeah, it was cursed.
and you couldn't find it.
It was killing me.
So have we heard anything from our Skypists?
No more Skype rapists for now.
Oh, you checked?
Yes, I checked. We could check right now if we want, but it wouldn't be there. You know, not unless he's done it in the last 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So, no fans today.
No fans, period.
Well, you know, there's a couple somewhere. I mean, thanks, Julio. Anyway.
Somewhere out
Yes, we have no
there.
fans today. That sucked. I'm cutting that out.
Edit at AJ sucking.
Oh, So we got Emerald City Comic Con coming.
That's in Seattle.
That's in Seattle.
That's in March.
The first week of March. And I am going to be looking like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger, lugging enough stuff to get signed over there.
There's a lot of people. Like, we went through the entire list of guests, which is large to begin with.
It's huge.
And the amount, I expect you to want, 15 people. You want literally almost everyone you've heard of to sign something for you.
I want to talk to Uncle Sal, who is a phenomenally funny motherfucker. Calls everybody hillbillies. If you ever listen to Comic Geek Speak, you'll know Uncle Sal. He does Robotica. He actually deals in Alex Ross's original art.
Well, I'm sure that's cheap.
Yeah, as a the official dealer that Alex actually promotes. Like, this is my guy. This is my conduit.
I find it intriguing. Now, I've never met Uncle Sal.
Yep.
I've never met Alex Ross. I've never been to Vegas.
Yeah.
I've never loved a woman.
Well,
I've never juggled tofu.
wait a minute.
There's a lot that I haven't done.
Go back one.
No. Yeah. But I find it intriguing that Alex Ross, who's like
Yeah.
the bridge cross, if you like comics and you show somebody who doesn't like comics Alex Ross,
Yeah.
they stop for a second.
Yep.
Like Alex Ross, it's like Terry Pratchett. Like, I don't enjoy fantasy. Oh, here's Terry Pratchett. Well, he's funny. When you can jump genre into just being awesome, that's Alex Ross. I find it intriguing that his spokesperson, if you will, is a dude named Uncle Sal. You just don't see that coming. You expect Alex Ross, dealer, to be British with a monocle, possibly a cummerbund.
Cummerbund.
Why not?
Well, that's rather classy.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if the comic world can, sustain a cummerbund.
Somebody has had a cummerbund.
I'd like to see a cummerbund at a con.
Connerbund?
Stop right now.
All right.
Okay, so
So you're not going to go through your entire list because it's enormous.
sure,
Give me
I
the
am.
top 10
Of
people
course
that you
I
want to
am.
meet.
I really got to see Ed Brubaker. I'm not holding my breath on Kurt Busiek because he's probably one of those panel guys.
But he is in the top 10 given the... this is opportunity.
Yes. Steve Epting, Matt Fraction. I got to say it. Fucking Larry Hama, man.
Yeah, you were a big fan back in the day. Don't bring an Nth Man.
I have an Nth Man.
Do you really?
I'm going to bring it.
Where did you find that?
At our own show, remember?
Ah.
I got it out the quarter bin.
I need to find one of those. I found a Kickers Incorporated and you wouldn't talk to me for an hour.
No, I wouldn't. I'm never... Don't bring that thing near me again, man.
I'm going to get that signed someday.
By who?
Whoever was on it.
Good luck with that. Most of them are either, blowing guys behind the 7-Eleven for change, or...
I think that's unlikely. All right, so that's 5.
We can't be certain.
What else you got?
Greg Rucka.
All right.
Probably not Yannick Paquette. Tim Sale
Right.
would be amazing to see. I'd like to talk to Michael Avon Oming.
Yep.
What are we up to?
That's 8. 2 more.
That's 8? Oh, now it gets tough, man. Dan Jurgens.
That's just for Booster Gold.
Absolutely. I've got the first 22 of his 26-issue run.
You're missing 4 Booster Gold.
Yep.
That's uncool and infuriating at the same time.
Yeah, pretty much. And Marv Wolfman.
Marvel, that's legit. So that's a legit 10.
Yeah, it
and
is.
yet you somehow missed most of the people I want to meet at the con.
Well, you got a whole different
I'm not
bag
going, of course.
Which, one day I'll get you to take a huge trip like that.
But there's
probably not before you're in a walker.
Yeah, fair enough. There's one name on that list that means more to me than every other name on that list.
Oh, yeah. Of
Who's
course.
that?
It's Mike Mignola. Mignola.
All right, there are 2 names on that list. Because you're right, but I was thinking of...
And Sergio Aragonés.
That is my hero. But, Mike Mignola wrote the best comic I've ever read, which is the Hellboy series. So, I'll take those 2 all day long. Sergio Aragonés is my hero.
No, I still do. Those are my top 10, but I still want to see
Sommer and D'Souza.
That's a given. They'll be hanging out at their table, and they'll have time to talk.
Frank Cho.
Frank Cho. Gotta see Cho. Stealth-Freeze would probably be nice to talk to for a little bit. Bruce Timm is going to be completely untouchable, so I'm just throwing him out the
Same with Adam
window.
Hughes.
Yeah, Adam Hughes is not going to be available.
It's a very impressive list.
It's
at
a
this con.
huge, star-spangled list. Much like
And you're
Pepsi
going
uniform.
organized. Unlike New York, where you didn't bring anything, and by the time you found the stuff, you couldn't get to the...
Yes, that... We remind everyone to go back into our archive and make sure you listen to the debacle that was this year's New York Comic Con for us.
I met Big Bird.
And it was the highlight of your decade, pretty much.
Well, that and Christine.
Well, you know, you're obligated to say that.
Yes, I am.
Oh! So, we got some news this time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Apparently, Archie, of all people, have finally decided that even they don't give a crap about the Comics Code anymore. They're dropping the seal, man. Can you believe that?
I really can't. Like, that is the oddest and least impressive news. Like, because really, they're not going anywhere that the seal wouldn't have let them go anyway.
Oh, no, I think the seal would have had a problem with gays.
Why?
It's 1954. I mean, any talk of sexuality was just, like, totally verboten. I mean, yeah.
But they introduced the character while they still had the seal, because the seal is coming off now, right?
Yeah, it's finally coming off now.
And
but
they introduced a gay character in Archie, which, to their credit, is very impressive. You know what?
Right.
I mean, you consider the number of books that haven't, and the number of publishers that haven't gone there on a regular basis.
Right.
How many openly gay characters can you name in mainstream comics?
Openly?
Batgirl,
No. Batwoman.
Batwoman. Sorry, thank you. Superman has that police.
Oh,
chick.
yeah, Maggie Sawyer. Now, the thing that kind of irritated me, and I'm not, like, an activist of any sort, but my thing is, if you're going to decide a character is going to be a given way, then you're just going to have to take the bite on any kind of backlash. Right? Remember North Star?
Yeah, you go into the whole North Star thing.
Yeah, and, you know, he came out gay, and then he got sick, and they said, no, he's a mystical being, and he's using up his mystical energies from his, you know, different magical land. And he's like, oh, great. So he's not gay, he's just a fairy. Thanks a lot, guys.
Well, that's subtle.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, Marvel, I mean, you had the whole North Star debacle, and of course you had Hector from the Hulk comics.
Hector?
Oh, God, why can't I remember the name of the group? When Peter David was writing the Hulk.
Oh, that Hector.
There
The
it is.
Pantheon.
The
Yes.
Pantheon,
Yes,
thank you.
Yes. That's right. I haven't read those in so long I almost forgot about Hector. I was like, really? Hector was... Oh, yeah! But they were kind of Greek, so you never could be sure. No, he was, and he was fine. There was nothing wrong with him. So... But, and I didn't pay attention to any of this, but it turns out Marvel has not had the code for 10 fucking years.
Well, I mean, the code has been unnecessary for a lot longer than that.
Yeah, oh yeah. And that's wondering why, you know, is DC taking their, are they just falling in line with what everyone else is doing finally, or do they really believe there's no goddamn point to it like everyone else has believed since, 1954?
Well, Marvel dropped the code, and then of course they had the whole Max line and whatnot. DC dropped it without having an adult line.
What?
As DC really had, well, they've got the
Vertigo,
yeah,
yeah.
which had never had the code on it either. So
No. So it's not a bad thing.
Honestly, the most impressive to me is Archie, because when you do something because it's the right thing to do,
yeah,
even though they could have completely stayed within the code, because they were able to put a gay character in the book while it was under code.
right.
And it's not like they're going any riskier than that. In our Jughead is suddenly not going to have threesomes. There will be no nudity in an Archie comic. I mean, Punisher meets Archie is as risque as they're ever going to get.
Although there was a Archie cover that would make you worry a little bit from like the 60s.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It had Betty on the beach, and I can't remember if it was her towel or a surfboard or something, and Archie had to go into the water and get it. You get all this in your head from the one image.
Okay.
You know, it's the cover, so. And there's a bunch of guys with black eyes in the water. It's just like, oh, Archie, you found my water wings or whatever the fuck it is. And he's like, found it? I had to beat off 10 guys to get it. That's a real cover.
Wow. But that's the innocence that allows the comic code,
yes,
I guess. You know, if
that's
you look
right.
at it.
I don't think anybody involved in the production of that book, let alone that cover, had any intention of it being a double entendre.
But you never know. I mean, there's some people just live to do things like that.
They do. Oh, and speaking of history and far things back. Far things back?
Yeah, just keep going, dude. Walk away. I'm
Things
the
from
Jedi, and
long
I
ago. I was watching the DC documentary. It's a very light, just a bunch of interviews, nothing really heavy about the history of DC, all the way up to like
What was the name of it, by the way?
It was, the history of DC or some shit.
Well,
It was,
very captivating.
they had a lot of good interviews in there. Mark Waid was on there for a long time. He was on there actually making fun of the Flash's origin. The original, Jay Garrick.
It's intriguing.
He said he got his powers from inhaling hard water. And hard water is ice. So, that's not exactly impressive. After the atomic bomb dropped, you had to have a little more than that.
Hard water, it probably sounded impressive.
Although scientifically he did miss the boat on that, because hard water is in fact, water with a lot of minerals in it. But, they didn't explain that in the comic.
I take a great deal of pride in not knowing that. And
Well.
thank you for fucking that up.
Oh, well, you can just... What the hell is wrong with you?
But I don't need minerals in my life.
I'm afraid you do, Bill.
Shit.
That disc was Secret Origins of DC Comics.
That's weird how you suddenly came up with that.
Yeah, well, I'm magical.
There you go.
I'm magical!
So at this point, we have to accept the fact it's a totally
Mystical.
random episode.
Well, yeah.
We're living
it's
in the
just
random.
a given, there's nothing to it.
So what comic news have you discovered on the interweb?
Don't say... What did I say about saying that?
I don't listen to you.
I hate you so much.
And yet, best friend.
Well, I mean, you're the guy I got no choice but to hang with. Really. For God's sake, man. Aside from the Comics Code and DC getting its own rating system...
Oh, let's get a quick update on DCU Round 2.
Oh, yes. I've reached level 21.
What's Anti-Cock been up to?
Anti-Ock.
Oh, slip of the tongue.
Yeah, okay. You know how I know you're gay? You slip of the tongue with cock.
Yeah. Shit. Damn, that was really good. Oh, I'm totally annoyed right now. A little 40-year-old virgin slam right there. Anyway.
I've reached level 21.
Who else have we fought?
Who else have I had my ass handed to me by? I haven't really fought.
Well, in 4 seconds you showed me the game before you got killed.
We stumbled across Solomon Grundy. He pulled my ass down to the ground before I even realized what the fuck was happening. Couldn't figure out where I was getting hit from.
There you go.
Because I was a half a second away from being pounded. Yeah. And I turn, and there's Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday.
He beat the living
Beating
crap out of
my
you on a
fucking
Tuesday, I'll tell you
ass.
that.
So I've tried to go up against the Joker. I did take out Baron Blood.
No shit.
Yep, I took out Baron Blood.
What a random dude to be in there.
With the help of Raven, Zatanna, thank you very much, come again, and Dr. Fate. Pretty cool, huh?
I'm not sure that
just say
Raven
yes,
ever,
you asshole.
All right, fine. Yes, you asshole.
God, can't you ever just say, yeah, man? You live to oppose. Don't you? Don't you?
I live for pie.
That's not strictly true either.
All right, so Solomon
the level cap,
Baron Blood is very cool, actually.
Yes,
I like the fact that they're rolling out lesser known and more creative.
Trigon.
Really?
Yeah.
Ick.
I've
if you fight the Trigger Twins.
I am absolutely certain that the Trigger Twins will be there at some point.
Oh, God.
Absolutely certain of it.
You know what I was thinking about the other day as a sort of a co-Trigger Twins?
Yeah.
Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
Oh, they'll show up. Absolutely. I have fought Poison Ivy.
Kick your ass?
Beat the living fuck out of me. She was mind-controlling Robin, and he ripped me to shit. Tim Drake Robin.
Oh, very nice. So a little kid beat you up.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, he's 17 now or something. He's not a little kid.
You know.
He's a little kid who's been training with fucking Batman.
It's true.
I mean, if you're training with Batman and you can't kick the ever-loving fuck out of damn near anyone you come across,
then
you're doing
Kyle
it wrong. Ooh. Ouch. A little callback to a couple issues ago.
Sinestro beat him like a redheaded stepchild.
So, the level cap is 30. And I found that it's pretty much a fixed leveling number. You don't need 100 to get to level 2, and then 200 to get to level 3, and 600 to get to level 4. It seems to be even. Because I haven't been doing the math, but it seems to be even.
I actually am pretty impressed, because normally you don't get your ass kicked in a lot of these games. So the fact that they're keeping a lot of these villains difficult to beat is a good sign.
Well, now that it's 21, I'm getting fucked over left and right.
Which is not the norm for you.
Yeah! It's pissing me off.
Usually you're just like, oh, I'll just up a level and then kick the crap out of you. And
no.
That isn't doing that.
No. They got these nasty-ass Joker minions named Wags. I don't know why they call them Wags.
It's a terrible name.
They don't have tails. I mean, they got lunatics, they got madcaps, things that you might...
That makes sense.
Clown faces, things that you might expect a Joker minion to be called. And then there's this pudgy little fat short fucker.
Called a Wag. Who just starts beating on you relentlessly, and you try to fight him back, and he's like, no, I'm going to block you and knock you down and then step on your balls. It sucks. I'm going to have to go. I decided, you know what? I'm done with Gotham. I'm going to go back to Metropolis for a few missions. Get up another couple levels. It is what you do.
But yeah, I mean, that's the way to do it. I mean, at one point, you just got to give up and say, look, I'm not powerful enough. I don't have enough dough for really
I don't care if it's 2 in the morning. If Terror Man shows up and you don't call me.
All right, I will call you the second I have to fight Terror Man.
Because I'm totally curious. Like with the Metropolis villains, like Parasite would thump the crap out of.
Hasn't shown up yet.
But it makes sense to roll out larger villains bit by bit.
Oh yeah, that's the only way you
have to have
do it with that.
Joker, you have to have Luthor right from the get-go.
No, you don't.
Luthor's in the video to open the game. He might not be
but he's not. You're not
playable yet, but they're not denying the major history. Like if you're in Gotham, Joker's a big pain in the ass.
Yep.
But you've seen Poison Ivy, you've seen Solomon Grundy. You haven't seen the Penguin.
No, not yet.
You haven't seen the Riddler.
Not yet. Actually, Batman has mentioned him in mission briefings, and he has left a few Riddlers.
All right, so he might be floating around.
He is floating around. I just haven't gotten to him yet.
Which is cool in and of itself.
Yeah, I've followed 3 of his clues, and then I found the wags and decided I would just go to
But
bed.
no Two-Face, no Mr. Freeze.
Not yet. Not yet.
No ventriloquist.
God, I hope he's in there.
Well,
I so want to hear. Get Gatman Stooge. That'd be fun. I would love that. Where were we before you sidetracked me?
we're talking about what you've discovered about comics on the interweb.
Don't say that. The web or the internet.
Well, if
It
it
is
can be
not
the
the
internet
interweb.
and it can be the web, why can't it be the interweb?
They're proper names.
The web is a proper name?
Yes, it is.
Why is it called the web?
It is a contracted proper name.
Well, who contracted
for
it?
The World Wide Web.
And why is it called the web?
The World Wide
Why is it called the World Wide Web?
Well, because it's a web-like structure between many, many different computers.
So,
do we have to get into a networking
well, no, it's
discussion
between
tonight?
many people, right?
Many, many, many people.
Hence the word inter.
Yeah.
And it's like a web, hence the word web. So interweb is a totally applicable description.
All right, I can see where you're going with that. However,
You hate it.
the common wisdom when writing that down is to turn it into some bizarro thing that's actually interweb.
Intar?
Yes, when people write down
I-N-T-A-R?
yes, when people write down interwebs,
Right.
they put the A where the E should be
And the point of this is,
to look stupid and hip.
well,
They
I've looked
think they're being-
stupid. I've never looked hip.
Never. Although you got that Ringo thing going on, so.
Well, thank you very much. And yes, I went with Elvis because I can't do a Ringo impression because then I would have to die.
I don't. Would die? What? Why would you? What?
Dude, if I looked like Ringo Starr and could sound like Ringo, then there's no reason to go on living. Unless you're dating Barbara Bach, which is why he's still alive.
Really?
He's married to a Bond girl. Ringo
Really?
Starr. A Bond girl that you fiended.
That's hardcore.
He's a man who
But
knows what he
anyway,
wants.
Chris
And he wants
Sprouse
hot
is now
chicks.
bringing out. Are we done with this stuff? Can we move on?
From Bond girls? Why would we want to?
That,
All right, what do you got?
You know, that is a valid question. What do I got? I got Ursula Andress on the mind. That's what I got. Chris Sprouse is coming back, baby. A brand new Tom Strong mini. Tom Strong and the Planet of Peril.
All right, sounds cool.
It does sound cool. It sounds kind of pulpish, don't it?
Yes, it does.
Uh-huh. And what were we discussing earlier about the precise difference between this title sounding pulpy and another?
You felt that I couldn't appreciate the title Planet of Peril because I didn't like Star Wars Attack of the Clones.
And your justification to go against that was?
Tom Strong has done retro well, and George Lucas did retro like poo dribbling down the ass of a homeless person.
Wow, you did not mention that part before.
I've had time to think.
Wow. Holy crap.
I've reflected.
Oh my god. That's frightening that you...
And in no way going to be the title.
No, that one's not going to be the title.
Although
So-
you have to wonder if we named it poo dribbling down the ass of a homeless person, how many more hits we would get.
I'm
For
thinking
all the wrong reasons.
all the wrong reasons, man. Just start seeing, URL references, but somebody clicked on you from
Poop shorts.
www.homelessasses.com.
Please don't let there be a homelessass.com. Please
I'll
don't.
bet you there is.
Don't look.
I should look it up right
Not on
now.
my computer. Die. All right. You're a horrible person.
I am not. If you hadn't mentioned what you mentioned, I never would have gone to that dark place.
I in no way justify that. I ever tell
So-
you when I was working in the bookstore?
Yeah, what
I
about
don't think I
when-
ever told you this. This woman comes in. She was in her probably late 40s, early 50s. And she was kind of amazing looking.
amazing, like
Jaw drop. Like when you were 22, you were probably unbelievable.
yeah.
And you know all those Signet Heinleins that I've grabbed for you over the years when I can find them, shit like that.
Yeah.
She was the chick that modeled the covers of all those.
What? Really?
Just happened to come in the bookstore. I was talking to her because, that was my job as I talked to people.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, can't believe I never told you that. Like, I was just like,
you never told me that.
Like, you could just see that at one point she was the kind of thing that made people leave wives. And it wasn't any one thing. Like, it was that present. You know what I mean? Like, to get that gig, you have to be... It's not about look. It's about, carrying it, I guess. Because you think about those covers, and they're not detailed in any way. It's all in abstract.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So Chris Sprouse... apparently it picks up about 8 months after Robots of Doom, and Tesla's pregnant with the Lava Guy's child.
Which is still the dumbest romance.
Which could not have been fucking comfortable.
Well, she seems to like it in the comic.
There's something very strange about Tesla Strong.
There's something strange about everybody in Tom Strong.
Well, Tom himself is not really that strange.
He is kind of... he's retro and ahead of his time. Like, sometimes he's got 1940s thinking, and sometimes he's got 2010 thinking.
Yeah, but that's just a modern man. Everybody's conflicted between the traditional and the current.
Not me. I'm right in 1978 where I like to be.
Yeah, and that... Damn, I was hoping I'd have something by the time I said that.
I like how you made it longer to try and be more likely to pull up a good dig.
Nope, didn't work. So, looking forward to a new Tom Strong.
Absolutely.
Ready to go on that.
Now, do you think they're going to... Now that they're doing this, do you think they're going to hit any of the other Alan Moore ABC comics?
I would hope so, because that was some really good stuff.
They did do a version of Top 10 without him. That didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, didn't move at all.
Then they did that Smacks the Barbarian side project that Xander Cannon drew.
I really have no idea what you're talking about.
Alright, Smacks the Barbarian was the giant blue cop from Top 10.
Ah, okay.
Xander Cannon was the inker on Top 10. He was also the writer-artist of one of the greatest comic books of all time that I turned you on to, because Senor Walsh turned it on to me. Replacement God.
Replacement God?
You don't remember that one?
I don't remember that one.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah, and there's a Wonder Woman pilot got picked up.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah. Don't know who is going to be starring or anything like that just yet. And X-Men First Class has promo pictures out now, which I don't know, dude.
If DC were smart, they've got Batman,
right?
They're revamping Superman.
Yeah.
They would do Wonder Woman and start building the JLA movie the way they're slowly building the Avengers movie for Marvel.
There's been a lot of discussions about that, and how long would it take, though? Because Christian Bale says he doesn't want to be Batman with anybody else. So, you could either have another actor playing Batman, and who knows if they'd make as good a choice as they did the last time, or you wouldn't have Batman in the JLA.
Well,
and nobody liked... I didn't have a problem with Brandon Ruth. I had a problem with some of the plot points.
I had a problem with the movie. I didn't think he was terrible in it. I totally agree with that.
Well, a lot of people don't like him, so why would they want to see him on screen again?
But they're revamping it anyway, and I assume they're not revamping him with him.
Haven't heard any news about that.
I would only... if nothing works in the film, you don't generally go, well, I like the lead actor.
Yeah, usually scrap it all and begin again.
It was failed on several levels, and one of them theoretically was a leading man. I had no real problem with him, but he also wasn't strong enough to save an iffy project either.
Right.
So why wouldn't you start again, really?
Apparently, we're getting paranoid about our national image again.
Oh, Lord. Why? What's up now?
Because overseas, Captain America is not going to be called Captain America.
If he's called Senor Wences, I quit.
No, he's not. There's no Victor Borga here. Is it American? Yes, it's American.
Hells no.
Apparently, it's going to be called The First Avenger.
Oh,
Which,
that's terrible.
By itself, doesn't really work for me at all. Some of these promo shots for that do look phenomenally
Wasn't he the
good, though.
fifth Avenger? Or?
Technically,
Sixth.
Fourth, fifth. No, he showed up in issue 4, so they didn't really have.
No. I think I'm right. Because you got Iron Man,
Yeah,
Thor,
yeah,
Hank Pym,
yeah.
Wasp, Hulk.
Yeah,
That's 5.
yeah,
So Cap is 6.
yeah.
So he's the 6th Avenger.
But
How crappy a movie title is that?
The 6th Avenger. But he was out and about adventuring before some of them were born.
Fine, he can be the first adventurer,
All right. Okay.
but he's the 6th Avenger.
Yeah.
7th if you include Jarvis.
Nah, I don't know that they call. I mean, he's employed by the Avengers. I don't
They've
think
called
they
him.
really-
He's the heart and soul of the Avengers.
Oh, for goodness sake! Really? I like old Edwin, but come on. Who thinks things up like this, man? Really?
People who write comics, really.
Those involved in the decision are being careful to frame the move as a matter of brand management and consumer awareness, and not as a decision tilted by cultural or political winds.
Well, if there's a backlash to things American, and you're putting a film out called Captain America, you have to argue the fact that it might not be as popular.
Well, I mean, the other thing is they're taking Nazis out of it so they can get it into Germany.
So obviously they're playing for a large, or at least the thing is, like, forward thinking wise, they may not be playing for a large aspect for this film, but enough to not alienate for the Avengers film.
All right, I can see that. That makes a bit more sense now.
Because it's not just one movie you're toying with. If Captain America doesn't do well in other countries, that's fine. But if Captain America alienates enough that Avengers doesn't do well,
Then why make an Avengers at all?
yeah, well, you know, in the U.S. it's going to do fine.
Yeah, probably.
But that, I mean, you've got Kenneth Branagh directing Thor.
Which I'm still a little worried about. I'm not as worried about the costumes as a lot of people are.
Really, there's a lot of backlash on the costumes.
Yeah, they feel that the ones shown in the promo shots are a little too clean and shiny. And I'm like, dude, look, they're in the throne room. They're not expecting battle. They're in their Sunday best. They got something going on. You know, they're talking with the king of the fucking gods. They're going to want to look okay.
My Sunday tights.
Armor. They're Asgardians. Armor.
Hey, all right.
They showed Balder, Odin, and Thor. So,
Now, if you made the Thor movie, do you break out the Warriors 3 or do you hide that shit?
oh no, you should have the Warriors fucking 3.
Do you really put Volstagg on screen?
Fuck yeah.
Do you break out the Prince of Power?
Hercules? Not just yet, no.
Yeah.
Not unless, you know, the whole story is built upon... You mean for the first Thor movie? Assuming it does well enough to make a second?
So if there were Thor sequels, you would totally break out Hercules.
Eventually.
Okay.
Maybe in the third one. You know?
So
There's a whole
Hercules
lot of story you can
is
throw
the
into
Richard
two
Pryor
Thor
of
movies.
Thor?
Oh, hey. No. Well, I mean, if he was played by some dumbass wrestler, sure. But, no, I mean, you want to have a bit of humor in these things. They can't be all completely Batman grim and gritty all the damn time. I mean, think about it. Eventually, you're going to want to have a tension breaker in a thing like that. You can have many high drama, high tension moments, but you don't want the fucking movie to be an endurance test emotionally,
True.
right? So, you got to give him... Volstagg, as long as they didn't totally turn him into a moron, because he is a bright guy. Slow down. I see that look on your face. I know that look pretty well.
All right, what do you
and
got?
It's getting worse.
What do you got to say?
He is a good fighter if not possessed of any finesse.
No,
and he can hold a conversation.
Yeah.
And he does have heart.
Oh, absolutely. No, here's my point. The only thing I disagree with is that there's nothing to indicate he's a bright guy. Is he completely mentally challenged? No. But he's fairly unself-aware. He's a lot like... The Warriors 3 are very based on the Three Musketeers.
Sure.
Athos.
Pathos.
Die. Porthos. And Aramis.
Yes.
You've got in Athos / Hogan.
Chez-moi Pepe.
What?
Pepe.
Le Pew?
Yeah.
Oh, dear God. So in Athos / Hogan, you've got the grim and determined, my life has been miserable, I hate everyone. In Aramis / Fandral, you've got the debonair, I bang a lot of women and stab people.
And I'm going to get chucked out of a building as I get caught banging somebody's wife.
Repeatedly.
Which we have just seen last issue.
In Porthos / Volstagg, you've got the larger, pure heart.
You think it was thought out that Portly and Porthos sound similar?
Yes. Yep.
I figured as much. Damn
so, no, Volstagg is a very fun character, but, you know, bright. I've never read anything where Bright and Volstagg really played hand in hand.
All right, you got me on the Bright thing, okay? But he doesn't have to be a complete fucking buffoon.
No, absolutely.
And ruin the tone of the movie like Jar Jar Binks.
But the hard thing with Volstagg is that he has to start buffoon and then build up past that. And in a 2-hour movie, that's a lot more challenging. Hence, Jar Jar Binks, or if you prefer, Senator Jar Jar Binks.
Senator Binks.
Misa, terrible representation.
Wow.
That's also a possible title right there.
All right, at this point, now that we're mentioning Jar Jar repeatedly, I think we have to call it even.
I suspect so.
So, kids, just wanted to remind you, you can hang out with us at the comic forums hosted by the inimitable and awesome sauce known as Comic Geek Speak. You can catch us on Facebook, Twitter, Comic Space.
Have we twitted recently?
Every time I edit an episode, I do a few twits.
These twits are made for walking.
That's just what they'll do. At any rate, come and visit us at www.themeengeek.com.
What?
Bless you, fuckers.
That's my line.
But you weren't saying it.
I was building up to it.
Build this, motherfucker. Just say it.
Bless you, fuckers.
The Mean Geek is recorded live at the Reverend Mad Duck's apartment whenever the hell we can get to it. You can find us on iTunes, Podcast Alley, Facebook, Comic Space, our own site, www.themeengeek.com. Subscribe to us through RSS, and most importantly, find us as a proud member on the Comics Podcast Network. Contact us directly through email at themeenergeek@gmail.com.